Hey everybody, what's up? Today we're going to do another tax return walkthrough. I'm going to use 1040.com to do a tax return. If you remember, a week or two ago I used Turbotax, showed you how to use the program, and then also gave my thoughts and review on that program. So we're going to do the same thing here with 1040.com. I'm going to use the same data as well to see if it produces the same refund or a different refund, and see if one of them gives us our maximum or better refund than the other one. So that'll be interesting to see. And then I'll give you my thoughts and comparison on the two programs. My name is Brad. I'm with Wooten CPA, and the purpose of the YouTube channel is to bring peace to your financial and tax responsibilities. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell so you get notifications so you see new videos as they come out. So again, I'm going to use the same exact data that I did before. I have a married couple with one child, a little bit of side income on a Schedule C business, a couple of deductions like student loan interest, and we're going to plug that in. I might skip over more of the actual data entry than I did in the TurboTax video, because my assumption is it's going to be very similar. It's going to walk us through a survey style, asking us questions. We enter in the information, and then it prepares the tax return based on that. So I expect it to be very similar. Also, you can click the link in the top corner, and I think in this top corner up on the right, and it will take you to the TurboTax review video as well if you want to see that one. And so again, we're going to jump in and I'll show you how to do this. I haven't used 1040.com before, so again, you'll get to see me walking through it for the very first time and figuring things out. All right, so here we go. We're in the program on their main page here. And first thing I see right off the bat is they're not trying to tell you they're going to get you your largest refund. They're not really giving any guarantees that I can see, and looks like I can try it for free. It also seems like, there's one price for everybody. Now, if you remember TurboTax, they had a bunch of different levels that you could do. I think this particular tax return, we ignored some of their extra marketing that they tried to throw additional features at us, and we ended up paying around, the cost was going to be around $90. So this one already right from the start looks like it's going to be significantly cheaper than that. Fire tax is online for $25. Let's click on pricing and actually see. $25, just one simple price, every feature included for everyone. All right, I like that already. Let's click start filing and we'll jump in and set up the account and see what we've got going on. All right, so I had to set up the account. I had to confirm the email address, and then I had to set up my security questions, pretty normal. And now we're in the program and we're going to begin. So to start, we'll ask you a few questions about yourself. Again, they're going to ask us several things. How will you file? Married, filing joint. More about your status. Can you be claimed as a dependent by someone else? No. What's your full name? I think my full name in the other one was spouse 1 Smith. Keep everything the same. Taxpayer first name can only contain letters. Okay. Spouse 1 Smith. Your social. We just made something up. Hopefully it'll let us do that in this one also. When were you born? So I'm going to say January 1, 1984. Occupation. I forgot what our occupation was. We'll just say worker. Spouse's full name was spouse 2 Smith. Social. More about your spouse. Can you claim your spouse as dependent? No. Spouse's occupation. She's also a worker. Spouse's birthday is also January 1, 1983. What is your phone number? 555 407 8888. All right, we'll say 919. All right, next. Address was something like 111 Main Street. Oh, look, it auto-populated a little bit of information. TurboTax didn't do that for us, so I just typed in the zip code, auto-populated. It saved me a little bit of time on typing, which is great. We'll say North Carolina, which is what we did last time on TurboTax. Are you a full-time student? No. Is your spouse? No. Would you like to contribute $3? No, thank you. Were you blind? It was not. Was your spouse blind? It was not. Your state return is included at no extra fees. That's fantastic. Maximum refund. Oh, here's where they start to give us some guarantees. Maximum refund guaranteed, 100% accurate guaranteed, automatic transfer to the state return. So that's nice because it's going to take the information we put in and put it on the state tax return, which all the programs are going to do that. 100% accurate guaranteed. Again, we mentioned this in the TurboTax video. They should guarantee that it's accurate based on the calculations. Now, they're not going to guarantee that your tax return is accurate because that's based on the information you put into the computer. But they should guarantee that the calculations are accurate. There's no explanation here. And then again, the maximum refund guarantee, I hate that guarantee. Just throw that out the window. We'll talk a little bit more about that in another video, and also when we compare to see if this 1040.com gives us any different refund than TurboTax did. So yes, we'll add my state return. It's been added. Save. Stay in the loop. Would you like to receive notifications from us? No thanks. All right, so now we're going to get started on answering some questions, typing in our information. Start with your W-2. Yes, I have a W-2. So this is spouse one's W-2. Employer ID, we're just going to make something up. Employer name, remember we had our W-2s, here they are. So employer is just company at 110 Main Street. I made $40,000 right here with $5,000 of withholding. All right, so I'm just making up these ID numbers, so sometimes I have to adjust them a little bit to get it to accept them. Is the address on your W-2 the same as your mailing address? Yes. All right, so our wages, like I said, were $40,000 for spouse one. Box 12 has code D, which is deferrals into a 401k retirement plan of $2,000. The year for that was 2019, which is the tax year we're doing the tax return for. I was in retirement plan, so I need to check that box right here on 13. And then there is no other information there. State, we said, was North Carolina. Local wages in box 18, almost always. Oh, no local wages, sorry. The state wages in 16 is $40,000, so state wages in 16. Usually the same as your federal wages. Your state income tax withheld here is $1,500. And we save that. Okay. It took my state ID number so we can move forward. All right. Do you have another W-2? Well, my spouse does. I don't know if that means me or my spouse. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So it didn't mean that person. It meant you filling out the return, have another one to enter. Yes. We'll choose spouse 2 this time. We'll make up another tax ID number. Company 2. Current mailing address is the same. All right, wages on spouse 2, $20,000 all the way down with $2,000 withholding. Next. They did not. Spouse 2, no retirement here, no box checked. The only thing we have left are the North Carolina wages of $20,000 and state income tax withheld at $500. So we will go ahead and skip next. State's going to be North Carolina, of course. The state ID number will just make up again. State wages, 20, and income tax withheld, 500. All right, so let's go. All right, we do not have another W-2. Also, I just noticed we are starting to track our federal and North Carolina refund due. So it's giving you the information up here at the top, just like TurboTax did. I don't particularly like that. Now, I do like the fact that as soon as we put our W-2 in, it didn't pop up and say your potential refund is $6,000 like TurboTax did. Because again, it's way too soon to even start to tell you about what your refund is. So the fact that TurboTax threw it in my face, I didn't really like that. It felt like there really wasn't a point in that. Now this one's tracking it across the top again. We've got quite a bit of information left to enter, and so we're not going to end up, with these numbers. But it's kind of cool, like I mentioned in the other video, where you get to see what later when we type in our IRA contribution, you get to see how that affects your taxes. And when we type in your student loan interest deduction, you get to see how that affects your taxes. And so that's good. It helps you get to see how that's going to affect your refund and everything. But again, in my opinion, it could also lead people to typing in false information because they want to just see that refund number go up. And so it almost kind of not incentivizes, but it could influence you to just start typing in information to make that number change, which obviously is not good because your return has to be accurate with the right information. It's not about what your refund is, it's about making sure your tax return is correct and accurate. So we don't have another W-2. All right, your income. We've covered your W-2s, interest and dividend. Tell us about interest and dividends, investments, business, retirement. So okay, so I can say guide me through all sections, or I can say I'm finished. I like that. I didn't see that. I'm sure there was a way to do that in TurboTax, probably, but I didn't see it, and so I didn't think about it. So I'm gonna skip the guide me through all sections. We know what we need to put in. So we do have interest. Let's say, did your spouse have income from bank interest? Yes. Tell us about it. Next, it was joint interest. The name we said was Ally. Do you know the payer tax ID number? We'll say no. No. Account information. Do you know the router? No. We don't need. All right. So basically, we just need to enter in the interest income, which I wrote down. We put 200 in before, and that's all we have. And that's from a 1099 interest that you might get from a savings account. No penalties, nothing else. We'll say next. Is any of your interest income from Illinois, Iowa, Maine, Oklahoma, or Tennessee? No, it's not. Does this need to be reported on a state return other than your residence state? No, it does not. Seller finance market. Will you pay this interest or did you finance the other property? No. Advanced options. I'd like to see them or next. I don't need to see advanced options. We'll save the interest income. All right, so no, let's continue. Just bounce the dividend income. No. All right, so now we're kind of back to our summary. We got the interest income in there. We're back to our summary. Now, if you remember, spouse 2 had a side hustle business selling makeup. That's what we put in the TurboTax, and so we'll say, tell us about your business. Did your spouse own a small business? Yes. Tell us about your business. This was spouse 2 with some side income. Does your business have a separate name? If not, just enter your name. All right, spouse 2 Smith. So we're going to say we didn't have a different name. We didn't have an employer ID number. We're just running kind of a makeup business where we're making sales to friends. What kind of professional activity carried on? Makeup sales. Your business code. Makeup. All right, nope. Sales. Non-deposits credit information including sales. No. Beauty. Oh, look, there we go. Let's type in beauty. Cosmetics and beauty supplies. All right, we'll do that. Does your business use your home address? Yes. Do you have business income to enter that's not reported on 1099 miscellaneous? Yes. So if you remember, we had a 1099. So I'll show you that here. The 1099 is from the makeup company that we're buying the supplies from. They're probably collecting some money for us on our behalf, and then they're issuing us kind of a commission. And we said that that was the $7,500. So it just asked me if I have income in addition to the 1099. And when I did the TurboTax one, I said yes. We're going to say that we collected another $2,500 from friends or family that we sold makeup to that we didn't go through that parent company. And so income from the beauty activity is $2,500. Next, business refunds, no. Business expenses, yes. All right, so again, these were same numbers I typed in before, so I'm just going to look over here and say we did advertising of 150. We'll say Facebook ads, 150. We're going to say we had supplies of 250. Advertising. The only other thing that we put in here was some miscellaneous expenses. Let's see, to give us miscellaneous expense option. And we said that was 400. Next. Business inventory. No, we don't have any inventory. Do you use a different method? No, we use cash method. More information about your business. Did you start or acquire the business in 2019? Yes. Generally, you're required to file from time on the business page, 600. So this is asking if we needed to file 1099 for payments we made to someone else. The answer is no. And then it's going to ask us some uncommon business items. So I'm going to say I did materially participate. Investments at risk, carry over the business from professional gaming, clergy business for no. How much of your income should be excluded? None. State. So again, we ran this business in the same state we live in. We did everything in North Carolina. Safe. Do you have other businesses? No. Did you receive a Form 1099 miscellaneous? Yes. All right. So this is for spouse 2 Smith. That's the business that we named. Yes. Next. Spouse 2. Payer name. Payer name is Makeup Company, $7,500. Makeup Company 1. Here's ID number. Make something up again. Address. Make something up. Next. Is your name and address listed on the form the same as your return? Yes. Rent, royalty, other income. No. Non-employee compensation, box 7. You get that straight from the 1099. Box 7 was $7,500. Next. There's no withholding on the 1099. Is there account information listed? No. That's all we need. Save. All right, so you can see our refund dropped there, and we have a tax due in North Carolina of $559. So let's see. No, let's continue. Car truck expenses, we'll say no. No. Home operate, no. Business, no. Did you contribute to a retirement plan for yourself through your business? No. Health insurance, no. All right, so a lot of questions about the business. We answered them. We're good there. So I think we got our W-2s in. We've got our side business in. We got our interest in. So that's everything that we had for income. We're going to kind of move on to the next screen, say finished with income. And now it's going to ask us about dependents. We said, yes, we do have one child. Child 1, Smith. Next. We'll need your dependent's social, so make that up again. Next. How are they related to you? We'll say it's our son. When was this dependent born? We'll say January 1, 2010. Again, all the same information we put into Turbotax so that we can compare these. Does dependent live with you all year? Yes. Did you pay someone else for dependent care expenses? We'll say no for this. The earned income credit is a key beneficial. Next, we'll ask you a few questions. All right. Did another person claim this child? No. Are either of these statements true? The dependent is unmarried? Yes. Dependent and they are a citizen? Yes, they're a citizen. Dependent live with you for more than half the year in the U.S.? Yes. That covers all of the usual basics. All right. So child 1. Now you'll see our refund jumped up significantly because we have a dependent. There's some child tax credit in there that's related to that. So no, I'm finished with dependents. And now we have deductions. So again, we can guide through all sections, say I'm finished, or jump into a specific section. So I really like how they've got this set up, because if you are familiar with what you're doing and you don't want to waste time going through the entire interview with all these irrelevant questions, you can just jump to the section that you know you have. You can see the sections listed and say, oh, I don't know if I have that. Tell us, click into it and see what the questions are. So what we have is for deductions, remember we had the IRA contribution and we had debt on some college, we had debt from our college years that we're paying deductible interest on. And so let's jump in and say retirement and investments, yes. Did you convert a traditional to a Roth? No. Did you contribute to an IRA? Yes. Were you at least 70 and a half? No. Great. Next, we'll ask you a few questions. All right. So we'll say this is for spouse 1, North Carolina. Not, they are covered by a pension plan at work. Total traditional IRA contributions made. What we put in there was 2,500. Non-deductible contributions, no. Total basis, no. Inherited print, no. Safe. All right. So that affected a refund. We got to deduct that off of our taxable income. We'll say we're done. Did your spouse? No. All right. Now, you may deduct qualified education costs. So I don't have. Yeah, this is also the section for student loan interest. So that's the section we're going to go into. Were your spouse or independents enrolled? No, we're not paying current tuition, so we'll say no. Did you pay student loans? Yes. Tell us about your student loans. I paid this interest. Tell us the amount of interest you paid. We said that the student loan interest that we paid was $1,200. Next. Great, we'll add that amount to your tax return. Save. Student loans, let's move on. All right. So I believe that that is everything that I put into the TurboTax tax return. Let me double check. Yeah, I think that that's everything I put in the TurboTax tax return. So I'm going to say I'm finished with that. It's going to ask us about healthcare. Did you buy insurance in the marketplace? No. Healthcare, I'm going to say I'm finished with. Other tax situations, let's get started. Did you make estimated tax payments? No. Did you apply for a refund? No. Did you need any estimated tax payments? No. Either of you applied for 2019. You had an interest or authority for an account? No. All right, so your federal return is ready. Federal refund, $3,417. We'll say we're finished with the federal. North Carolina, we will continue. It's going to ask us some questions specific to North Carolina. The main one that's going to apply here is in North Carolina, there's a general sales tax, kind of safe haven for when you buy items online and they don't charge you sales tax. You actually then owe use tax in North Carolina. So we'll use the safe haven. And actually, it did not ask me that question. Let's go back to state taxes. Okay, so interesting. It did not ask us about that kind of sales tax safe haven. Usually that is a question it would ask you. I'm not 100% sure why it didn't ask us that. I'm trying to see here. Additions and subtractions, income, consumer use tax worksheet. So there it is. So I'm going to click on that because TurboTax did ask us about it. On here, I had to actually go into it. So consumer use tax worksheet is for both of us. Do you have records of all your out-of-state purchases? No. Purchases without records over 1,000 in the total amount and the total amount. Tax paid to another state. Save. All right. So that took our tax due in North Carolina up to $315. It basically, it's a small amount. I always recommend people do it. Again, I wish the program had jumped to it because we're all buying stuff online now. Plenty of people online through Amazon still don't charge sales tax sometimes if you buy it from a seller in another state and ship it to you. And so this is just a safe haven. It's a small amount of money. I think it went up by $30 so maybe. And so it really isn't that much, and it protects you from ended up having to pay sales tax, penalties, interest on large purchases or other purchases you might have made from out of state. So I like to do it because it's a small amount. So we'll click next. So I get a free return preview. Let's see. Yes, I'd like to create a preview of my return. So I didn't really see an option for that. I did go back, and I think there was this place in TurboTax to see a preview of the return, but we'll click here and see it. It's going to let me actually download it. I'm going to open it up. And of course, they say not for filing, but it's hard to read a little bit. But I am able to see a preview of the actual tax return. Now, okay, I'll get to that point later. So I won't say that now. But lets me see the preview. I can file now. And course, it seems like the cost, they didn't try to upsell me on anything. There was no upsell here. It told me the rate was going to be $25. Um, I'm not going to go through it, of course, but so here we go. That is 1040.com. So let's take a step back and go over the things that were different than TurboTax, the things that I liked, and then also see which one gave us our maximum refund. So first of all, I like the fact that it was a little more basic. Now, you might like the TurboTax feel better, but this one was a little bit more basic. I had a little bit more freedom to jump around if I didn't want to spend time walking through a ton of irrelevant questions. I could jump from section to section if I was familiar with what I had going on, which I was, saved me a lot of time because I'm familiar with what I was doing. And so if that's you, this program might be better. Again, $25 versus $90, and then up if you start adding on some of the other features or you have a more complicated tax return in TurboTax, they're going to charge you a little bit more for that. So cost-wise, better. Functionality, pretty good. The only thing I didn't like was it didn't ask us about that consumer use tax on North Carolina, which was interesting to me. And so this program seems to do it what it says it does. I mean, and then now how do we compare our federal and state refunds? So on TurboTax, our North Carolina tax due, which you can see right here, was $315 on 1040.com. TurboTax program, also $315. So we owe North Carolina tax of $315. And then the federal refund, $3,417 here on 1040.com, $3,429 on TurboTax. So was that $12? So there are a couple different ways. You can use the tax table or you can use a formula to calculate the tax due. This is basically just rounding. It's $12. If TurboTax says, hey, we got you your maximum refund because we got you $12 more, the tax returns are the same. And I'd have to look at the exact tax return to see maybe where the rounding error was. It has to be in the tax calculation because I'm pretty sure I typed in all the other information exactly the same. So in your tax table calculation, there's a slight difference there of $12. But that's the main point. If you put in the same data into 1040.com and into TurboTax.com or into the professional program that I use, you're going to get the same refund or tax due, because your refund or your tax due is based on the reality of your tax facts and circumstances. So the facts and circumstances were the exact same. The refund, the tax due, and the tax liability, exact same for all intents and purposes. So, that's where I say don't fall for this marketing gimmick of get your maximum refund back, because you're going to get the same refund if you do the return correctly. Now, again, if you might have missed something, then, going through the whole questionnaire on here would help you not miss things if you're not really familiar with what you've got going on in your tax situation. But the thing that I said in the TurboTax video, the same thing I'm going to say here is if you can't look at the actual tax return, so I'll pull that up real quick. If you're not someone who can actually look at the actual forms here, the 1040 form and all of the supplemental schedules, and you don't feel comfortable with knowing that you're confident that that information is correct and in the right spot, you should never self-prepare your tax return. You should never rely on going through a questionnaire, typing in information, and then trusting that the return is correct, because everything is based on the questions you answered and what you put in. So if you misunderstood and answered a question incorrectly, or you keyed in a piece of data into the wrong survey question, then the tax return will not be accurate because you're the one doing all the input. And so you need to be someone who can go to the tax return, look at the tax return and say, okay, tax return is right. That means I've input the information right. That's what I do. I input the information into a program as well. There's no survey, right? I'm allowed to just jump directly to it, put it in. It's professional software. It helps me with a lot of diagnostics as well, and some things there. But basically, I don't rely on any of that input. What I do is I go to the tax return. I look at the tax return. I make sure the tax return's right. And if it's not, I go back and change the inputs because I know what the tax return should look like. So again, I'm beating that dead horse, but if you can't look at the tax return, you really don't need to be self-preparing your tax return. You need to be going to a professional to prepare your tax return. So overall, 1040.com, if you want to save money, if you want to be able to jump around in the interview process a little bit. The other cool thing about 1040.com is it is created by the same program of the tax packages that I use. And so if you begin to key in your information to 1040.com and change your mind and say, I don't want to do my own tax return, and you come to someone like me who uses Drake Tax, you can actually give us permission for Drake to import what you've already keyed in into the tax return and have, and I can look at it and also help you out and then become your paid tax preparer, which would just save time, which would save complexity on your return, which would save you costs from what I'm going to ultimately end up charging you because you've done a lot of the work, assuming that you've entered it in correctly and saved me time. And so that's a kind of a unique feature of 1040.com. And so I have a link to 1040.com. Again, because I use Drake Tax, I have a custom link. I put it down in the description to this video, and you can click on that link. And basically what that does is I get a referral fee. So there is a little bit of fee that I get. I guess it comes from the $25. So, if it's, half of that, I get $12.50 if you use that program. So that's not the reason why I would recommend it. It's not a lot of money, but I just want to be open and honest that there is a little bit of a referral fee there if you use the specific link that I put down in the video section. So, but again, like I said, it might not be the right program for you. TurboTax might be better. You pay a little bit more. You might find the features a little bit nicer than this one. Again, this one's very basic, which is how they keep their costs down. But it works. I mean, it's a tax prep software that's way cheaper if you're looking to save money. And it gives you the same result because taxes are calculated the same way. It's a math problem. Put in the right information, you get the right tax return completed. So that's basically that. I'm going to have another video that I'll share with you too, a little bit more about this maximum refund and how it's just a marketing gimmick, and what you should actually be looking for, and if maximum refund is actually what you even want. So check out that video when it comes out. I think that's what I'm going to put out next week. In the meantime, go ahead, subscribe to the YouTube channel here and hit the bell so that you're notified when that next video comes out next week. And I hope that these videos are continuing to bring peace to your tax and financial responsibilities. Let me know in the comments if it's doing that, and share with a friend if you're enjoying the videos. Thanks a lot for your time.